Yo, 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 yo. No, I'm just playing. Anyways, jump right into it like always, right? That's what we do. That's what we do. It's Big Tone. Today, man, we got another good ass, funny ass reaction. This is medium time. This is about the terrifying 1990 Jaws ride incident at I believe it's at Universal Studios. I've never seen this, obviously. Otherwise, why would it be a reaction, right? So, let's just jump right into this shit. We still trying to get 100,000 subscribers. We are going to get there. Don't worry. Just keep subscribing. Just keep subscribing. That's all you got to do for real. Let's jump into this right now.
If you've been to Universal Studios Florida anytime before 2012, you'll most likely remember the Jaws ride. This insanely advanced boat ride remains one of the most ambitious theme park rides of all time, and for good reason. Its storytelling, use of live actors, and ultra-advanced underwater animatronics have made it a cult classic among theme park fans. The shark may be an animatronic, but that makes it even more horrifying to many. The fear of submerged man-made objects, commonly known as submechanophobia, certainly applies here. Many cringe and shudder at the idea of falling in with this massive, complex machine. And as it just so happens, one unlucky person actually did fall in with the shark. But what happened and why? Let's take a look at the 1990 Jaws ride incident right here on Theme Park Crazy.
W intro.
To start things off, here's a special thanks to Dustin McNeil and his book, Adventures in Amity: Tales from the Jaws Ride. It provided a lot of the information for this video, and I'll link its Amazon page in the description. Now, before we get started, here's some background on the ride. Back in 1975, Universal Pictures released the movie Jaws. Directed by Steven Spielberg and based on the book by Peter Benchley, it was an instant success. It was such a massive hit that Universal Pictures aimed to add a Jaws experience to their tram tour in Hollywood. This experience served as a precursor to the Jaws ride, with guests passing by a man-made lagoon.
So this is Universal Studios Hollywood, not Florida. This is Hollywood. Never been there. Have you been there? I haven't.
On the tram. As they pass by the water, an animatronic shark rises from the surface and snaps its jaws at them. It's worth noting that the original shark was rather cartoony looking, as it was meant to resemble the shark on the movie poster rather than a real great white shark. Later on, the shark was changed to be more realistic looking, and it continues to serve as one of the highlights of the tram tour today. Over a decade after this experience made its debut, Universal's parent company MCA was setting their sights on a massive new theme park in Florida. The success of the tram tour's King Kong experience in 1986 further gave executives the confidence to open a full-fledged theme park.
Hey, yo, if this is part of that King Kong ride, or King Kong ride, this shit looks crazy. This looks like a nigga in a gorilla suit, for real.
The growing Disney World resort made Orlando a hot tourist destination, and officials wanted to fully capitalize on the location with a movie-based theme park. Meanwhile, Disney had begun development on their own movie-based theme park around the same time. This would end up being Disney MGM Studios. Originally intended to be just a studio tour, the concept morphed into a theme park as Universal sought to build their own. This was actually a pretty heated feud, as both parks sought to outdo each other during development.
So Disney MCA was really back and forth. The parks, like, I think that's probably gonna turn into Disney World, and then, you know, obviously, Universal Studios. But yeah, it seemed like they was really neck and neck, bro.
Universal knew that if they were going to compete with Disney, they would need some seriously advanced attractions. Eventually, Universal Studios Florida opened on June 7, 1990. Among the park's opening day attractions were the insanely impressive Kongfrontation Dark Ride, as well as the bizarre E.T. Adventure Dark Ride, and of course, the Jaws ride. Now, if you've been watching my channel for a while, you'll know about the most famous version of the Jaws ride.
I ain't gonna lie, I don't know how good this shit is. like how good it looks in person. But it looks pretty good on camera, so I know in person it probably really do scare the fuck out of you to just have that shit jump out the water out of nowhere.
One with the big explosion, the high voltage wire, and the finely roasted shark.
Damn.
No plank. But that version of the ride actually opened in 1993. When the park first opened in 1990, a very different version of the ride made its debut. This version was made with the help of California-based company Ride and Show Engineering. This company had previously done work for both Universal's Tram Tour and Disney's theme parks. They not only installed the motion bridge on the King Kong experience, but they also refurbished the Disneyland monorail and installed the boat ride system on Maelstrom, now Frozen Ever After. For this new Jaws ride, no expense was spared, and the final budget for the first version ended up being over $72 million when adjusted for inflation.
Okay, look, see, don't do that. Don't put the adjusted inflation price. Put the price it was, and then say, oh, but that would be 72 million in today's time. That would be 72 million in today's time. But just say what it costs. I don't like when they do that. It's like you're trying to make it seem like it's more than what it was for what?
At the same time, this was a lot of money to put into a theme park ride for the time. And considering the challenges of building it and the sheer scale of it, there's no wonder why it cost so much. So what happened on the original version of the ride? Well, the start was pretty much exactly the same as the later version. Guests boarded a boat and were taken on a tour of Amity Island. Soon enough, though, they came across a sinking tour boat that was just attacked by Jaws with no survivors. The implication being that in less than a minute, the shark gobbled everyone up like dots in Pac-Man. After the shark swims underneath the boat, the skipper decides to hide in the boathouse where the shark makes its first full appearance. This was easily the scariest part of the ride, as the darkness of the boathouse and the animatronic shark both led
That shit look hella real. That shit looks real. That shit looks real as fuck. In that dark room right there, that shit looks hella real.
to complete nightmare fuel. After the boathouse is where both versions diverge though. On the later version, the shark passes by on the port side and a controlled fiery explosion heats up the surrounding area. On the original version though, the animatronic shark appears to bite onto the front pontoon with a popping sound effect played. Through the use of an underwater turntable, the shark drags the boat backwards and shakes it.
Oh,
this is
shit.
humorous considering sharks are incapable of swimming backwards. Then again, this is the same shark that can eat a boatload of people in less than a minute, so anything's possible in this story. That said, this moment was by far the biggest headache when it came to operating the attraction. You see, while the later version of the ride had boats that traveled on an underwater track, the original pontoon boats were freely floating in the lagoon. A concrete pit underneath did
What the fuck was that? Are you stupid? So you just let boats just free float? We just free floating the boats on a ride? Motherfuckers are smart enough to know better than that. I mean, Jesus Christ.
guide them on a certain path, but the boats weren't fully attached to the track like on the later version. This meant that skippers had full control over the boat's speed. During the scene, the skipper had to perfectly align the boat with where the shark would emerge from the lagoon.
They putting way too much responsibility on this driver. Who the fuck is that supposed to be? Some 18-year-old at the working at the park? This nigga's supposed to have all these fucking technological shit down in his head and have the right cues to turn and speed up and come on, bruh. That's stupid. Just stupid.
Too far away, and it looked like the shark was trying to inhale the boat like Kirby. Too close, and the boat would actually knock the shark's teeth out. You can actually see the shark's
Damn.
teeth missing in this clip. Somewhere along the line, the decision was made to glue real shark teeth into Jaws', well, jaws. And according to the Orlando Sentinel, occasionally the pontoons on the boats were ripped. So not only was
So your dumb ass put real shark teeth, sharp ass real shark teeth inside the mouth, knowing it was finna bite the goddamn boat. And of course, it punctured some of the goddamn boats. It's fucking real shark teeth, dumbass.
the animatronic damaged, but the boat took damage as well. On top of these issues, the sharks would sometimes not emerge from the water at all during the scene. This led to what one skipper described as, quote, an awkward 30-second dead space. Moving on from this scene, there was the grand finale of the ride. Once again, the shark appears to charge at the boat. Only this time, the skipper takes aim with a grenade launcher and launches a spicy one right into Jaws' mouth.
A fucking grenade launcher? At a shark? Somebody call PETA. Call the ASPCA. This man has to be stopped. A fucking grenade launcher? Jesus Christ. They want that shark the fuck out of here, don't they?
The shark then appears to swim to the other side of the boat, where it suddenly explodes into a gory eruption of shark guts. Side note, this moment
Call PETA.
actually involved an intensive compressed air mechanism that was patented by Universal. Under the surface, the shark guts were collected in a giant funnel, which sorted them back into place for the next group of riders. Definitely a creative achievement in engineering. Unfortunately, this part also failed to work properly every now and then. According to the Los Angeles Daily News, one skipper was quoted as saying, "There was supposed to be an explosion over there," reportedly on the ride's inaugural journey. All in all, the new ride, while met with praise from those who got to experience it, was an operational disaster. It faced a ton of downtime and was only said to operate periodically. As if Universal didn't have a big enough migraine on their hands, one major incident in July would make things even worse.
Finally, the incident. Let's go.
On an unspecified date that month, bank officer Anthony Salamone of New Jersey had boarded the Jaws ride with his children. According to Salamone's lawyer Michael Diamond, a broken railing led to Salamone falling off the boat and into the water. Diamond added that after falling in, the shark started swimming right towards Salamone. This caused Salamone's children to scream that, quote, "The shark's gonna eat daddy." Afterwards, Diamond said that Universal employees tried to fish him out of the water, only for him to slip and fall in again. By the time they were able to get him back on,
At some point, you gotta take accountability. He keeps falling in the goddamn water. They're trying to save him. It's not working out. And I don't know how the shark started swimming at him. That's kind of fucking crazy. That would have scared the shit out of me, for sure.
board, the other riders applauded, thinking it was part of the show. In the end, Salamone was left with a scream.
You know how mad I would be if I was fighting for my life in the water, thinking this shark is about to eat me, and motherfuckers are on the boat clapping, just cheering. Get him! Yeah! Yeah, oh my god! This fucking great. Universal Studios, am I right? Fuck you guys, bro. Help me! Help me! Help me!
Scraped leg, bruises, and a cold from being wet. According to the Orlando Sentinel, Universal's in-house lawyer Ron Sykes disagreed with Diamond's account of the incident. He declined to comment any further and also declined to say if anyone else had fallen off the boat. Later that year, Salamone filed a lawsuit in New Jersey federal court seeking $1 million. He alleged that the company and its employees were careless and negligent in maintaining the ride. However, the lawsuit was eventually moved to the U.S. District Court in Orlando in 1992 at the request of Universal. Unfortunately, not much was heard of this lawsuit since then, and most likely the parties ended up settling out of court decades ago.
To be honest, nothing really happened to dude though. I mean, he fell out the boat, he fell in the water, the shark kind of creeped up on him or whatever. You know, he tried to get out, they tried to help him out, he fell again with his dumb ass. I mean, to be honest, nothing happened. I mean, you fell in the water, bro. I mean, at the end of the day, like, it's kind of fucked up they clapped and shit, but oh, did you die? But did you die? Then shut the fuck up. I mean, you don't have any missing limbs. It's not even that crazy.
As for the incident itself, what the hell happened? How did Salamone fall in? Where did he fall in? Was it the park's fault, or was he standing up? The lawsuit only gave us his point of view, and Universal refused to comment. Luckily, the Tales from the Jaws ride book helps give us a better idea of what happened, and the details make the incident even more terrifying. In an interview with ride skipper Jeff Clay, he described the event as it happened that day. Though he wasn't driving the boat, he was still at the park as a lead. According to Clay, the incident happened on the part of the ride where the shark latches onto the boat. Apparently, the guest fell against the safety bar at this point. As you can see from this image of the boat, the safety bar is the only thing separating riders from the edge of the boat. Clay said that the bar either had a missing or broken pin, which caused it to come off altogether, sending Salamone into the lagoon. Clay said, quote,
Okay, now you're fucked. Now you're fucked, because now dude obviously has pointed out it was a safety bar. He tried to lean against the safety bar, he had a fucked up pin, safety bar flew off. Boom, case closed. Where the fuck was that?
That's where we have the biggest, deepest pit with the most machinery in the entire lagoon. It was the absolute last place you would want to fall overboard. Now here's where things get especially horrifying. Though most of the lagoon was said to be around 4 feet deep, the shark animatronics were kept in deeper pits to fit the necessary machinery. In order to make repairs outside of park hours, dive technicians would have to be sent down at night to make the necessary adjustments. In a separate interview with skipper John Bernard, he described how terrifying this process was, saying, quote, I remember something one of the dive technicians told me. These guys were tough as nails mechanic types. They would be working on Jaws at night, making repairs where needed. If the repairs couldn't be done above water, then the techs would have to dive down into the lagoon. Again, this is at nighttime. Some of those pits were quite deep. The deepest was in scene 4 where the turntable from the original ride was. That pit was like 30 or 40 feet deep.
Oh shit. This whole time I'm thinking maybe like 10 feet deep. 30 or 40 feet deep is kind of fucking terrifying. That is terrifying. I wouldn't do it.
They told me how incredibly scary it was diving down into the murky darkness at night and suddenly coming face to face with this huge frozen great white shark. You heard that right. Salamone actually...
Yeah, imagine that shit, because it is like pitch black. So imagine that shit. You go down with your flashlight. You're like, all right, man, let me get down to work. Ah! Fuck. Forgot that motherfucker was right there.
fell into a 30 to 40 foot deep pit of water was an animatronic shark on a complex turntable mechanism. You don't have to have some mechanophobia to get nightmares from that thought. According to Clay, the emergency stop was activated the moment that Salamone fell in. He added, quote, I was so proud of the skipper for immediately hitting the E-stop, which shut down the entire ride literally 1 second after the guy fell over. They grabbed him and pulled him right back into the boat, so he was only in the water for a few seconds. The skipper then brought the boat to unload and the guy was totally fine. That was the biggest emergency I can remember.
So exactly. You fell in the water for a few seconds. They're trying to paint a bigger story behind it, but at the end of the day, you fell in the water for a couple seconds, bro, but the safety bar did break. The safety bar did break. $1 million though? I mean, he ain't gonna get that much for that shit. All you do is fall in the water. You ain't got no injuries, you know what I'm saying? If you had an injury, then yeah, you could probably get 10 million out them bitches, but you ain't really got nothing.
The account is interesting as it somewhat conflicts with the version Salamone's lawyer presented. Clay suggests that Salamone was pulled out almost immediately, whereas his lawyer claimed he was in the water long enough for his children to panic and for him to fall back in a second time. Another thing worth noting was the lawyer's account that the shark was swimming towards Salamone. If he had fallen off during this point of the ride, the shark would be moving away from Salamone and not towards him. It's still understandable that his children would think that the shark was going to eat him as he was still in the water, but the idea that the shark was swimming towards him is questionable. Regardless of the exact details, there's no doubt that this was a serious and terrifying incident. The thought of falling into an industrial pit with a massive moving animatronic shark surrounded by unseen mechanical components is the stuff of nightmares.
Yeah, that part of it, I'm not gonna lie, that part of it is kind of fucked up. Like when you think about that you're in this shit with a bunch of moving, swirling parts. Like if you could final destination yourself very easily in a situation like that. So yeah, I get it. I get it. That's definitely some final destination shit too. You fall into the animatronic shark thing, and then the animatronic shark kills you. Wow. Final destination, baby.
Even if the shark was only moving for a split second, that must have been enormously unsettling to be in the water. When all was said and done, this incident only added to the long list of problems Universal was facing with the original Jaws ride. Between the mechanical failures, the operational headaches, and now a lawsuit, it became frustratingly clear that the ride was simply unsustainable in its current form. Universal was furious at Ride and Show Engineering and would end up filing a lawsuit of their own against them for the entire cost of the ride. Universal cited poor design, missed deadlines, and claimed that non-waterproof parts were used for the attraction, leading to even more issues.
Damn. Use non-waterproof parts for a water ride? That sounds like amateur hour, homie. What the fuck happened? Universal, they like, fuck that. We ain't finna just be paying motherfuckers. Y'all built this shit. Y'all built this shit Mickey. Y'all, this shit is Mickey, man. This shit's bullshit. Shit falling off, shit fucked up. Shark teeth falling out, shark eyeballs falling out. What the fuck? I paid $72 million for this shit, bitch. When you include for inflation.
They also reportedly claimed that the motion bases for the animatronics were so powerful that they were tearing up the concrete floor of the lagoon. But was this lawsuit fair? According to Ride and Show Engineering Director of Marketing Mark Messersmith, the company was working on a strict deadline from Universal, and they weren't given enough time to test and adjust the ride before opening. Even before the ride's debut, Messersmith said, quote, "Universal had begun taking control from us little by little in the months before it opened. They were hiring their own people to oversee engineering and design modifications. We were slowly losing control of our own project. It was tragic what ultimately happened on Jaws. It was never given the proper time to test and adjust." Eventually, the lawsuit was settled out of court for an undisclosed amount. Universal originally planned on bringing in a new team of engineers.
So it really just seems like everybody's throwing the blame on somebody else. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, nothing fucking happened. This motherfucker just tried to get some money because he fell in the water. But like I said, if the safety bar fell off, then yeah, that's what it is. I mean, the safety bar fell off. So you should try to get a little bit of money for sure. That's some scary shit. You should try to get some money for emotional damages. However, right now, it just seems like everybody is going to. At first it was at Universal, boom, they said, whatever, it's not us type shit. Settled out of court. We finna sue the design company. Design company gets sued. They like, nah, fuck y'all. Y'all didn't give us time to do what we had to do. And then y'all start doing y'all own shit. How you gonna blame us for the shit being fucked up? You know what I'm saying? It's just everybody kind of throwing it back and forth. It seemed just like at the end of the day, you gotta blame Universal because they own the shit, they running the shit. This is they shit. It's Jaws.
To refurbish the original ride, but an assessment from an outside party said it was not economically feasible. Essentially, the ride was in such disrepair that Universal basically had to start from scratch. Though the basic framework and theming were kept, the animatronics, mechanisms, boats, and other equipment were gutted and replaced. The Totally Fun company was brought on for the new version. Meanwhile, Oceaneering International was brought in to design the new sharks, and Swiss manufacturer Intamin was brought in to build an underwater track for the boats. This new version of the ride would operate until 2012, when it was completely flattened and replaced with the new Diagon Alley themed area.
So it actually worked out once they replaced everything. And they threw Harry Potter right over that shit, said, fuck Jaws.
That said, a clone of the ride continues to operate at Universal Studios Japan, with the lagoon sitting right next to the new Super Nintendo World. Looking back, though the 1990 incident wasn't the final nail in the original's coffin.
Well, I wonder how that works out, because don't the Japanese, don't they eat shark? Like, that's a regular thing for them, right? That's a regular thing for them, right? They eat shark. I'm pretty sure shark is legal to eat over there. I don't know if it's legal here. I know I've had it before when I was younger, but I don't know if it's legal now to eat shark in America. I don't know. But I know for a fact in Japan, they're fucking some shark up, nigga. You better watch out if you're a goddamn shark. They got shark fin soup, all that shit. They chopping your bitch ass up and putting you in some shark sushi. Yeah, tuna roll, bitch.
It did still somewhat contribute to its closing. The whole thing was just a complete mess. Still, you have to give the engineers credit for making the best of a bad situation. When the ride did work as intended, it was amazing, and you can argue that its ambition was even more impressive than the final version. All that said, its short lifespan, malfunctions, errors, and lawsuits make it one of the biggest failures in theme park history. Now to be clear, this video only scratches the surface of this ride's history, and there are a ton of more details and tales from the Jaws ride. So once again, you can get the Kindle version or a physical copy at the link.
Hey man, if you read, you can get the goddamn book, read the book. Why it gotta be a goddamn book? Just get the book, man. Here's the Amazon thing. Look at it. You know, if you want to read.
In the description. Now it's time for the comment shoutout program. This is where I take 5 random comments from my previous video and read them out.
And this is where we stop, because what the fuck do we care about that? So, really, the whole Jaws incident really wasn't that fucking... It wasn't that catastrophic. It was terrifying for that person, that man, I don't remember his name, Dale, whatever the fuck, you know, we'll call him Dale. Because Dale's a dumbass. Dale's over here falling off the rail. Even if it was a safety bar, right? Why was he the only one that fell in? If it was a safety bar, and the safety bar, you seen how the safety bar went across the whole boat as one bar. So if you, how are you the only one that fell? How are you the only one that fell out the boat with your dumb ass? So that's where I'm saying, like, it seems like I get it, like you fall in the water and that shit is scary and all that shit. But bro, I don't really feel like, I feel like maybe he noticed it was loose or something, like knocked that bitch off and just jumped in there, was trying to get the money, you know what I mean? Because it's just, how do you fall off by yourself? You're the only one. How do you fall off? And then part 2 is, how do you fall back in that bitch? How does the shark swim at you? You know what I mean? All this shit is kind of like, you know, it's a little far-fetched. You feel me? It's a little far-fetched. But it happened, and that's what we react to today, man. I hope y'all enjoyed that shit, man. 100,000, we coming for that 100,000. All right, man. Holla at your boy.